Tell me which way to turn. Right. No, wait. I mean...
You know what? I don't know if I can do this video. This movie was so painfully bad. I don't know if your hatred towards this movie could make my expressions justify your thoughts.
If you can't do this video, then you can have the day off.
Okay then, I just need some rest.
Looks like I have to get my second channel identity for this one. Hey, Skips, I'm gonna need your help.
Let me guess. You want me to be your reactions to express your thoughts on that god-awful Goanimate YouTuber movie?
How'd you know?
I can tell by the distraught look on your face. But sure, I'd do it since Jimbo is taking a break.
Alright, now let's get out of here.
So, this is my first time doing something like this. What do I do?
You just do what Jimbo does. I don't have to mention what you have to do, as I think you know the basics.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Okay. This Goanimate movie was one I've been hearing about for a while. And after watching it for the first time, I can see why this 3-hour-long video is so hated. This movie is so bad that I nearly went into a mental breakdown while watching it. Thrice. I will say now that I am not new to the works of SIDENOTE, as in a previous video, I reviewed his Alvin Hung and the Go-Fags movie, and I still think that movie was awful. It had a story that's completely unoriginal, along with spreading unnecessary propaganda against Alvin Hung, along with the movie showing that his fans are being superior to his haters, when CEOs like Alvin wouldn't care about the hate they get. To add further insult to injury, the movie also has lazy animation, plus generic character designs, and speaking of the characters, they're all either a bunch of generic tropes who have little to no personality, or especially with the users that appear in it, there would be so much characters that I admit I don't even know many of the users' names. It's the basis of how not to make a movie, especially a Goanimate one at that. But a Goanimate YouTuber movie, on the other hand, is different. And that different isn't the good kind either. This movie is just the Alvin Hung movie all over again, but now way worse and only exists as extremely dated material rather than something that can still remain relevant. I will say now that I first watched this movie through a bad movie night on my Discord server under the request of one of my good friends, Wright Animation Studios, meaning I had to have an entire team to help me watch this clusterfuck. But that horrid movie and the first time experience alone won't stop me from trying to give this movie the most ultimate review video I have ever done yet. So in this video, I will go over my thoughts on a Goanimate YouTuber movie and explain overall why this movie is absolutely atrocious. Now before we go any further, keep in mind that there would be mentions of users who do exist or have existed online. So please do not go out of your way to harass any of the users mentioned, as this video was made for constructive criticism purposes only.
Hello people, I am Hunter Wright, and as you've heard from Baxpo, I was the one who requested a bad movie night about this film in particular. Now, before we get in, I would like to talk about my side of the story with this movie. Back in somewhere between 2019 to 2021, I think, I have watched this movie. And since I didn't have any taste in quality whatsoever back then, on top of pretty much obsessing over shit like Raya and the Last Dragon, Wish Dragon, and Brave for their magical elements, like the massive amounts of lore and fantasy and shit like that, as well as their beautiful musical scores. Sorta liked it. Or, to be more accurate, I watched it for fun and did not care. I don't know why, but I did. I didn't even care much about those weird-ass scenes and shit.
Love is very good for your life. It helps you get married in the future, and you might even yet get a new family. Aw. What's wrong? Don't you like kisses from ladies like me? Do you know what will make you feel happy? When you kiss my booty. When you kiss my booty.
However, even though I stopped watching it after a while and my mind has drifted off to other things, including producing my own content, the memories of me watching this film never truly left my mind completely. When I found Braxpo doing a review on Keenan's other movie, Alvin Hung and the Go Fags, that was when those particular memories of me watching this film began to resurface. For better or for worse, that is. So yeah, as I already said before, I was the one to request a bad movie night out of a Goanimate YouTuber movie in Braxpo's server. And even though the movie itself was actual pure garbage for reasons we will get into shortly, I will say this. At least Braxpo didn't have to suffer from watching this movie alone, like he probably did with that Alvin Hung movie.
And now, without further delay, let's just get right into this garbage. All I can say about the film's plot is that nothing about it makes any logical sense. The film is mainly about Cian and Irvine and his overbloated group of friends going off to Disneyland. But after their bus crashes into a lake, they get stranded in a simple village, and soon they realize that they can use that place like if it were Disneyland. Then when they jump into the lake, our characters are transported into an underwater world and meet a spirit who rules the place named Daisy. However, during their time under the sea, a few Alvin Hung haters and some evil clones of some of the main guys try to go look for the group for liking Alvin Hung and teach them a lesson for having an opinion. However, Daisy then dies over a dumbass Goanimate ripoff, and the underwater world would be destroyed because of that, leading the group of Goanimators to save Daisy and her world. Already from this plot alone, it makes the movie sound simple, but it would have been if it weren't for one of my massive criticisms with this movie: the length. This movie goes on for about 3 hours, and you'd think they'd use that amount of time to tell a very expansive story with some groundbreaking visuals to round it out. No, they wouldn't. It's a Goanimate movie. They wouldn't do that shit. Just like many Goanimate films out there, this film uses that 3-hour runtime to drag out several scenes for far too long, especially since it adds in unnecessary filler that doesn't add any substance to the story and only exists to pad out the runtime. And with this long length, I would also add that the movie itself is just very boring. It doesn't do anything interesting to keep me hooked into the story, and overall makes the experience feel like you're in English class with Mr. Mackey. The plot itself is also pretty bad, as it doesn't do anything different with the story it wants to tell, and instead, just like the Alvin Hung movie, it has zero originality in its script, and just copies scenes from other movies. Again, here are a couple examples.
Ah, looky here. It's our 1X Entertainment, Oon 1X and Anrictor 43.
Ah, look at that. All my other favorite Goanimate YouTubers have come over for some excitement. Come on down, Keenan.
Great to see you, our 1X. You suck your Angelica.
Keenan Irvine. What about Hiller?
Hilary? Oh. Hilary.
Help me.
Yup.
Keenan Irvine. Wait for us.
So again, this movie not only has a very uninteresting screenplay, but it also plagiarizes other films because it can't come up with its own ideas, or at the very least, their own twists on old tropes and cliches. And also, this movie is just another piece of that Alvin Hung propaganda where all the characters go, "Alvin Hung is not evil, he is innocent and is poor and needs more money." To which I think that claim is just pure bullshit. Yes, CEOs have to spend lots of money on certain decisions, but if Alvin Hung gained millions upon billions of dollars for running a drag-and-drop animation website, then he'd be financially stable like any CEO would. I mean, look at the net worths of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. But back on topic, the movie's use of that Alvin Hung propaganda, just like in the Alvin Hung movie I reviewed, makes the message look really preachy and overall dumbfounding. I would also state that Daisy dying over a Goanimate ripoff is just stupid as hell. Like, why the fuck kill a little girl over some Goanimate ripoff that could get you arrested and sued? Unless if you don't actually make the website, you won't face any legal action. Why do these users take simple Goanimate concept art made by people who wish the old themes were back this seriously? I will never understand at this point. Also add the fact that some people say this movie was made to start drama. How are we not screwed as a society? Overall, the story of a Goanimate YouTuber movie is just nothing but preachy Alvin Hung propaganda mixed in with drama commentary disguised in the writing. It didn't just fail to be a movie, it failed to achieve the basic requirements of storytelling.
Okay, now here are some things I would like to add on to about the story. Not only is it preachy Alvin Hung propaganda, it's also a little bit of copyright infringement propaganda too, complete with using non-copyright sounds music during the dance scenes, including the ending scene and the end credits. No joke, one of the characters said,
"No copyright sounds. I love no copyright sounds. It's really safe music, and entirely groovy too."
By the way, I'm using one of those songs for one of my music videos. Can you guess which one? By the way, another thing I would like to add about this movie is that it does some bullshit twists. Like with the whole evil clone subplot, as well as the fact that Kyuya is somehow actually alive. Despite the very fact that she had no way of escaping the house when it got fucking bulldozed by some asshole named Rebel 19. I'll get to him a little bit later, by the way. Also, Cool Boy 7750, the main antagonist of Keenan Irvine's last movie, somehow got into this cave with literally no explanation on how he even got here in the first place. Even though he shouldn't even be in the movie to begin with. Did I mention that this film rips off Super Mario Galaxy 2? Also, for a film, let alone a Goanimate movie that is set in something like the underwater world, it really doesn't do much with it other than with that spirit character named Daisy. First of all, no actual sea animals outside of the anthropomorphic fish are seen here. There is no bubble effects animation flowing on the characters when they are in this world. Which probably shouldn't be an issue since the characters in SpongeBob SquarePants never have this and walk around normally. So I guess that's fair. There is also zero explanation on how they can even breathe underwater in the first place. They just do. We are never told or shown how they even do so in the first place. Or at least I don't think so. That is just peak laziness in storytelling. Also, there are no merpups found here. I felt like that was something to get off my chest when watching this film. Also, haha, funny Paw Patrol reference. There's absolutely nothing in this movie to latch onto in any way whatsoever. There's barely any sense of humor or actual comedy outside of two ironically hilarious bits. And there is also zero emotional investment in the story, as I did not care about anybody in this for reasons me and Braxpo will get into later, or any remote sense of adventure in what should be an adventure movie. It is just a piss-poor premise, indulged as all fuck, mixed with obnoxiously stupid propaganda bullshit that amounts to nothing in the end. Especially considering the fact that Rapper Offline and Flash themes existed years after this film came out. Let me reiterate that again. Rapper Offline and Flash themes exist, to which the latter is still available to this day and is actually very easy to sign into. It already makes this movie's existence, as well as the Alvin Hung movie's existence, absolutely irrelevant, if not completely pointless. And it completely strips both of them of the very reason that they were made to begin with, if any. Like, all of that bullshit about,
stop with the girl pass. Go animate the doll.
Or some shit like that, for nothing. And yet, ironically, he used some of the non-business themed characters in this movie. Which also really goes to show how incompetent of a filmmaker Keanu Irvine is as a whole, as he clearly did not learn anything from his last film, Alvin Hung and the Go Fags. It doesn't help either that he himself is the main protagonist of this film, which I'll get into later. There's also another thing that really annoyed me about it. And it's the fact that it reuses this fucking irritating ass scream multiple times. And also a pretty poor use of music. For example, this film has some of the worst use of the track named Devastation and Revenge by Kevin MacLeod. It uses that track twice throughout the movie and it fits in neither of the scenes it's used in. Allow me to show you on what I mean by that.
You are grounded. And today is punishment day. First punishment. Spanking you.
No, Mom and Dad. Don't spank me. Please. No. No.
Help. Help me. Someone help me.
Barry. You seem to be great big fans of Alvin Hung.
Keanu Irvine and Dodge Squad Agent Trinity Animations. What have you done to yourselves?
You guys look hideous.
Maybe it was all because you were dancing the whole night through.
I've never even seen you guys pull those faces before. Hey. Wait a minute. That's not Keanu Irvine or Odd Squad Agent Trinity Animations.
The movie also uses a bunch of other tracks from Kevin MacLeod as well too. Like for example, Five Armies, Sneaky Snitch, Arcadia, Gaggle, etc. Most of which I don't think are as badly used as Devastation and Revenge, but I don't think this saves the film from being lazy and boring as shit. Moving on.
This may be a shorter section, but I'll say everything about the look of the film here. While the business-friendly style here looks really dated, it does have some of that nostalgic charm to it, and I would say the background Cian and Irvine made for the film looked decent. Not great, but fine enough to add to the film's universe, and attempt to achieve the vision of the already very misled direction. But that's where my small positives end, as the Go animation has its own faults too. While a few of them look fine, many of the character designs look pretty generic and overall look very basic, with no chance of standing out from the crowd. Also, the original characters that are drawn by CNN himself look fine, but because they're just still images, it makes them lack emotion or character. I mean, at least attempt some actual animation with those characters. Try the Hanna-Barbera-like animation on them, it would at least give them life. While not too important, the Go animation is a bit of a mixed bag for me, where some things look decent and other things look bland.
I honestly think that the animation in this movie is some of the laziest I've ever seen in a Go Animate movie. There was not a single aspect of it that looked remotely close to decent for me. The character designs, or character models, are bland as shit and sometimes really weird. The backgrounds drawn for this movie are really poorly done. The rip-off Bikini Bottom Fish characters never look like they are actually animated once. There was not a semblance of energy or over-the-top fun in any part of it. Not even a particular action scene shown here. All of it looks so lazy and dated as hell in every way, given that this was animated somewhere in 2016 to 2017. On top of that, there are quite a couple of mistakes in the animation as well too. Like for example, for the quote-unquote river scenes, they literally used battlefield backgrounds for them. I am dead serious. The background in these shots literally looks like a fucking jungle with literal explosions happening right behind them. Now, it'd be one thing if the characters were running for their lives from whatever it would be, but no! This scene is clearly shown to have a peaceful moment between Trinity and the two child characters, despite the literal background that was used in that shot. I know that Goanimate or Beyond animation takes a long time to make, especially when you're doing it alone. I mean, I do it alone myself, but still! This is peak laziness. And the kind that you wouldn't even do in a Goanimate movie like this. I honestly have nothing else to say about the animation here other than to simply say that it is extremely dated as hell. It completely lacks any form of energy and it just never feels like it is alive. It's just plain lazy.
To start, many, or if I'm not mistaken, all of the characters here were actually last seen in the Alvin Hung movie. But instead of rescuing him, they are now spreading the message that Alvin Hung is an innocent man and stopping Go Kids from hating on him. That's the best way to sum up these characters, as they're all just preachy and overall unlikable. All I would just say about the characters we're with in this movie is just a completely overbloated group that gives us way too many characters to follow, which is why many of these characters either have little personality or none at all. I wouldn't even go through all the main characters, as all of them are generic and have nothing unique about them that can make these characters stand out. As for the villains, they also have very unclear motivations other than defeating the Alvin Hung likers and bringing the non-business themes back. One villain I would like to talk about is a certain character named Belly. Why? Didn't you hear her name? Her name is fucking Belly. The best claim I could give about this character, other than her being generic, even if she's the most self-aware of the group, especially since she grounded herself at the end, at least she knew what was coming to her. I think this character, from the look of her design, is probably the symbol of a fetish. Like, her name is literally named after a literal organ. It not only feels really uncomfortable, but it just shows how weird this movie can be. Speaking of weird, there was a portrayal of a really hated user at that time named Your Angelica, who is shown in this movie doing nothing but this.
I love you. Do you remember me?
No. No. No, 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 no.
Uh-oh. I'm not gay. You're Angelica. I'm not gay.
While I kind of admit that moment got a chuckle out of me, it gets really uncomfortable when it shows what's in her place. The fact she has images of people's private parts and her victims is just so fucking wild. Like, how was this shit allowed on YouTube? Overall, the characters are just generic tropes spreading unrealistic propaganda around to tell the viewer to not do any Goanimate ripoffs. When programs like Rapper Offline and Flash Themes existed years after this film came out, and even when Flash Themes got that one infamous cease and desist, they were back up anyway, making the messaging of this movie and CNN's other films completely pointless. The characters here in this movie are just lame-os I'm glad I won't see ever again.
Like I said before, I really did not give a shit about any of the characters in this once. I was never invested in their emotional journeys, I never cared about what will happen to them, none of them made any sense, and I didn't even like literally any of them at all. In fact, some of them even came across as unlikable to me. For example, that Rebel19 guy was a complete asshole to many of the people around him. Especially Kyuya, as he apparently made grounded videos out of her specifically, which is straight up cyberbullying, on top of making her a boy in these videos. He even thinks that Kyuya is a boy. I am not even exaggerating.
All this is because Kyuya is a boy. Oh no. Don't start that again. You should know that Kyuya is not a boy, she's the only girl on this side. Keenan Irvine. Think again. Kyuya is a boy.
No. I agree with Keenan Irvine.
Shut your mouth.
So his sudden likeness towards Kyuya at the very end comes right the fuck out of nowhere, as I didn't see him develop that in any way. And I don't even understand why he even changes at all. Throughout the movie, he was a dick to many of the protagonists. Down to the point of driving a fucking bulldozer towards the village and destroying Kyuya's supposed house. Which probably would have killed her if she did not escape. Which she probably wouldn't have. And he wasn't even remorseful for doing so, nor was he even remotely regretful towards those actions. Like, it'd be one thing if the person driving the bulldozer was a completely different person that is never revealed to us, and is only doing this out of pure cartoonish malice, but no! It is shown that Rebel 19 was the fucking driver of the bulldozer. How he even got in the first place, or why he even decided to do something like this in the first place, other than deliberately try to kill off Kuya, is never explained. He just simply did so just for the sake of the plot demanding for some fake-ass danger and suspense. All in a cheap way for the audience to give an ounce of a shit about the characters. And he still tries to attack the protagonists! For literally no reason, might I add! It just makes him come across as genuinely unlikable. Especially considering that he is still a jerk pretty much throughout the film, right until he suddenly starts to be nice to Kuya in the end. As for Kenan Irvine himself, he has got to be one of the most pathetic protagonists I have ever seen in any movie ever. First of all, he is obviously the maker of the movie's self-insert, so yeah, that definitely doesn't help matters. Second, what he mainly does is constantly whine about A, either not going to Disneyland, pretty much with everyone else at the beginning of the movie when the bus got lost and they conveniently stumbled upon a village out of nowhere for no reason. Yeah, don't think I noticed that. Fuck you for cheating. Or B, all the shit that he apparently did in the fucking past. Which is pretty much throughout the goddamn film, by the way.
All the stuff I added to my YouTube videos were all copyrighted. All I just wanted to do was improve my artwork. But when I was inspired by Alvin Hung's artwork, I added it to my videos and I almost had a copyright strike. But thank God I have none. But still, I wish no one was ever mad at me. I have major problems with people raging at me, but I deserve to be raged at for doing copyright infringement.
This just makes him come across as obnoxiously insecure as hell, and gives people quite literally no reason to sympathize with him when he constantly whines about it. For God's sake, Freddy Lupin from 100% Wolf unironically makes a more sympathetic protagonist than him. I am not even joking in the slightest when I say this. Also, there was this running gag with that one user named Cow Animates on how he absolutely loves cows to no end. No joke, there's even a scene where he constantly says cows.
Cows. Cows. Cows. Cows. Cows. Cows. Cows. Cows. Cows.
Get it? Because his name is Cow Animates! Isn't that funny? And yet he didn't run towards them during a fucking cow stampede in the factory during the anticlimactic final battle. Now, I am not sure on what to say about the rest of the cast in particular. Like what Braxpo stated before, pretty much most of them have little personality or absolutely none whatsoever. Hilary, Kenan Irvine's creation, is just a love interest for Kenan who shows up right the fuck out of nowhere. Don't ask how! The supposed villains are just the Alvin Hung haters on top of being troublemakers because of course they are. Daisy the water spirit character makes no sense and was barely given any depth on her past whatsoever. It doesn't help you that it was never explained once throughout the movie, so it might as well be non-existent. The nonsensically conceived evil clones are just the typical evil clones. I don't know and I don't care about literally everyone else. And the less said about the whole Your Angelica pornography shitfest scene, or the fact that one of the main villains is named after, you know, as well as Kenan Irvine kissing a child, the better, okay?
Hurry up, Kenan. There's not much time now.
Okay. I hope this works for real.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck? However, that being said, there is one good thing I can say about the cast, and probably the movie as a whole. That being 343 Florida 2014 does not appear in this film. You know, one of the original users from the last film alongside Kenan and the others? That one user who deliberately and constantly yelled at him for wanting to make a cartoon of all things? To the point of flat out slandering him as a literal go-fag?
You're not a hero. You're nothing but a gafag.
And also even tried to fucking kill him?
You know the only thing I like about gafags?
What?
When they die.
Yeah, she's literally nowhere to be found in this movie. Not even in the special thanks list. In a way, I guess this makes it somewhat of an improvement over the first film in that department, but that ain't really saying shit at all. Meanwhile, Eric Animate and Doodlebop, oh no, Doodlebop! And probably a few others as well, make a small appearance at the end of the movie. So I guess I can say that, but that isn't really a compliment. Nor is it actually an issue. Especially compared to the many other issues that this film has. But thankfully, I don't have to sum all of them up myself, because Braxpo is gonna do it for me. Take it away, buddy.
Overall, a Goanimate YouTuber movie is just one clusterfuck of a movie that should have never been made at all. Everything about this film is completely pointless and stupidly ridiculous that makes the overall experience a boring time. The plot is ridiculous and doesn't justify its 3-hour-long runtime. The story is pointless and full of nonsense. The Go animation is generic, even with its decencies. The characters are bland, along with there being too many characters to follow. The Alvin Hung propaganda makes the film completely preachy, and the whole thing is just awful, and easily ties with Alvin Hung and the Go Fags as the worst Go Animate film I have ever seen. Unless you want to watch this film for background filler or to make fun of its faults, then do so. I am not stopping you. Otherwise, it's for the best that you skip out on this one.
Hey, not funny.
Sorry. But anyways, I don't have anything else to say about this movie other than it had awful direction. It was made to say Alvin Hung is poor and needs more money when it's just some lies. And it was just an experience I never want to go through again. I give a Go Animate YouTuber movie 1 thumbs up Jimbo out of 5. Fuck this movie. Anyways, that's it for this review. If you have your own thoughts on this film, you can tell me in the comments. I'm curious to hear about what y'all think. Also, shout out to Hunter Wright Animation Studios for appearing in this video. The link to his channel can be found in the description. Anyways, until then, I'm Braxpo and—
Wait, you forgot something.
Oh, alright. If you want to see some of the non-first channel worthy content I created, then head on over to my second channel. It's full of garbage that might be mistaken as peak content. Are you satisfied now?
Very satisfied.